And we're live. We are live. Hello to everyone out there in the world today. Hello, Dynamite fans. Hello, ThunderCats and Powerpuff fans specifically. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for joining all of us here today. Paulina Ganucheau is here again, which I'm so excited to see her again, but I'm also excited to get to know Coleman Engle, the artist. So, guys, hello. Thank you so much for taking the time out today to be here.
Of course, it's our pleasure. I love talking to you. We always have a good time.
Thank you. I guess I wanted to start out again because Paulina, we talked a couple times before, so I wanted to get to know Coleman a little bit. Mm-hmm. So, have you guys known each other before this crossover, or is this the first time?
Yes.
Yeah, we've known each other almost 20 years.
Yeah, so. It's been a long time. Yes, we went to school together. So
cool.
Yeah, we go way back. And it's a dream collaboration that I am just so chuffed to have happening right now. And I honestly, I didn't ever plan for it. I don't think Coleman did either. And then it just happened, and it feels awesome.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened sooner, but I'm very happy it's happening.
Yes.
Yeah. Did the editors come to you guys and say, hey, you two would be perfect?
Well, let's see. So Nate brought me the idea, our editor, first. He was like, how about ThunderCats, Powerpuff Girl, smash them together? And I was like, that's weird, but I love it. And then from there, I immediately knew I wanted Coleman. It was like number one, not even a thought. So
I'm very thankful.
Coleman, I did look up your previous work, and you've done a lot of cartoons. You've done a lot of adaptations, whether it's Steven Universe, Gumball, Adventure Time, regular show, which I am a fan of, by the way. So, were you familiar with either of these shows, Powerpuffs and ThunderCats?
Yeah, I was talking to Paulina earlier, but we're like a very specific age where like we were the perfect demographic. In 1998, we were like 9 or 10 years old, and Toonami was coming on at the same time, and Powerpuff Girls was coming out brand new, and just kind of like really left an impression on both of us. Was ThunderCats on Toonami? It might have been a Boomerang.
It was, yeah.
Oh, Toonami. Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like those like weekday afternoons, I didn't have Cartoon Network at my house growing up. So whenever I was at my grandma's house or my dad's house, I would like beg to be near the TV, like around 4 o'clock.
I have a schedule.
Very important meetings to attend. But yeah, and they just both left like a pretty like striking impression on me. Like Powerpuff Girls because it's so graphic, and then ThunderCats because it was like a little bit before the whole anime boom of the late 90s. It was kind of like, you know, the shore, like the weight coming in, and then it was like, what is this?
Yeah.
So I want to know from both of you guys, how to do a proper crossover? Like, how much do you get from both shows, and how is it mixed properly, whether it's art wise or writing wise? How does it mix? How do you make it mix?
I mean, first it's about like getting to know both properties, and for us it was getting to know them again because, like Coleman said, we grew up with them and loved them forever. So yeah, it's like when I was first pulled onto this, I had just rewatched Powerpuff Girls because of the previous series that I had done, but I started rewatching ThunderCats, and like my number one thing to do first was try to find what overlaps between both properties. Like, what would you say like pulls them together and has the similarities of both? So yeah, that's where I start as far as that. And there's a lot of similarities. It's like two superhero teams living in universes where literally anything can happen. So it's not as weird as people think, I think. So it's just like yeah, it's a lot of fun. And visually, I think Coleman is absolutely crushing it, but he can go over his combination. Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, and then for art, I think because it takes place on Third Earth, it's mainly like sort of in a grounded reality, whereas I think if it was in Townsville, it'd be much more like kind of like art gooey style, like
Mhm.
retro looking 50s stuff. But it's fun playing in Third Earth initially because the Powerpuff Girls become these sort of weird abstract beacons on the page. And it's really fun kind of like switching between them because they both drawing them different kind of activates different parts of my brain. So if I'm like in ThunderCats mode, I have to like be really serious about anatomy and like get it all correct. And then if that kind of like, you know, if I get tired of that, I can just go over to the Powerpuff Girls and make these really kind of just different decisions.
Yeah.
I got to read the Free Comic Book Day sneak peek, and like you said, it might be a little off at first, but I think I know to me I got used to it pretty quickly because I mean they're both very colorful worlds, and like they're both action, both exciting. They're both really exciting. So if anyone else out there got to read Free Comic Book Day edition, let us know. So I'm always excited on how to make a proper story. Paulina, like how do you get the initial idea of how they come together?
Sorry, I think I dropped out for a second. I think I missed what you said. Can you tell me one more time? I'm so sorry.
What's the first step of how do you decide how ThunderCats and Powerpuffs meet? Like what's the
how do you get them together?
It's like, because I think like when you're working with two different universes, how does it, like when you write it out, how does it make sense? Is because am I allowed to say what was in the first issue of the Free Comic Book, or am I allowed to say?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's out. Yeah.
Okay.
That's free.
Yeah, it's free.
Because you have Mojo put them in a rocket ship and send them to Third Earth. So like, was it automatically like, oh, they're technically in the same universe if they can go to Third Earth? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would say no, because wormhole makes
right. I forgot about the wormhole. My mistake.
Yeah, so I would say it was some sort of interdimensional wormhole happening there. So yeah, it's definitely yeah.
Wait, this isn't canon?
What?
No.
I'll have to remember that. Wormholes.
Yes.
Wormholes can send you anywhere.
Yeah, definitely parallel universe, not same universe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Had the question, then my brain blacked out.
Take your time. I'm chilling.
I guess, how did you decide, like, the girls each get their own signature ThunderCats weapon? How do you decide? Do you look at each ThunderCats character like, oh, who would make the better matchup?
No, actually, Coleman and I just were like, what weapons do we want? And we just started like hashing it out, and that's literally all it was. And Coleman said slingshot, and I was like, yes, there it is. And then I think sword was a given, and I think Nate said whip, which is cool. So it was totally like a collaboration, and we were just throwing stuff at the wall. But I really like the three weapons that we have. They have a lot of variety visually for Coleman to play with.
And I think that they do a good job kind of like helping the girls without their powers, but then also having like being a tool to let them learn how to function without their powers.
Mm-hmm. I was just going to say that is a very interesting element to the story. Like, they're so used to superpowers, and now they're in a world where they got none of that. So that's got to be really interesting to write and draw. Like this, they have to be human essentially, and learn how to defend for themselves in a new way.
Yeah. And that plays into the story a lot. Even just like shot choices and what you can do with the girls is different because they're always just floating around, and you can put them anywhere in the show, anywhere. So yeah, even when I'm writing, I'm very conscious of where they are to try to help Coleman as much as I can, because they're this big and Tiger's like this big. So the size difference is like, it's kind of wild. But I think it leads to some creative choices on both of our parts that I think is fun. And I think it's cool when you limit a character and kind of have to rework who they are and just like let them rediscover who they are, especially as superheroes. And Buttercup has a really interesting arc with that struggle in the whole series that I can't wait for everyone to see. That there was an inkling of in the Free Comic Book Day already, but we talk about that much more moving forward. And I think it's a cool choice and a good choice, because I think the story would have been over very fast if they had their powers also.
I think so too.
They're so OP, and I think in any universe they would tear it up. So yeah.
So when working on the story, you guys back and forth with each other every day, or how is it working together?
I mean, it's very hands-on. When you say Coleman, we talk a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, outside of like professional life, we talk like every day.
Every day. We talk every day.
Yeah. During the text, I could be like, hey, especially during the thumbnail phasing, I'm always like, does this work? Yeah. Sometimes he's like, I had it like this. And the good thing about like working with Paulina is that she is an artist. So in her head, all the pages have layouts, which I think sometimes maybe writers don't have that foresight. But I can be like, I didn't know what to do with this, but these are the thoughts I had, and she'll come back saying this is what I thought, and then it's usually my idea or Paulina's idea, or like a marriage of the two, and it's very like better for it. So
yeah, it's a very collaborative effort. And then even when we were developing it initially, I came to Coleman and was like, what do you want to draw? And so I just made sure he was having a good time along the way. But yeah, it feels so easy and fun doing this project with Coleman, and I think more comics projects should be as collaborative as that. I don't like the separate boxes so much as writer-artist that a lot of people have to deal with, which is fine. It's it's mostly the norm, but I feel very grateful that we can play in the space so much together. I definitely feel like two kids in a sandbox with a bunch of toys. So like, yeah, it's a blast.
Yes, I feel very.
Would you guys ever sit like Pauline? Would you ever have an art note, or Coleman? Would you have a story note? Like how would you want this particular art, like page to look, or are you ever giving each other like kind of opposite notes? If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, just the other day, Coleman brought me an idea, and I was like, I'm gonna write that in, and that and so I think even vice versa. When he sends thumbnails, I'll say, hey, what about this for this? But yeah, again, I think that's pretty normal, natural, collaborative stuff, and it's yeah.
And we're so lucky to live in a time where we can literally just have a thought and be like, hey, and like text
I know.
it. And whereas I think maybe 10 or 15 years ago would have been a little longer communication.
Yeah. We have each other's phone number and we text all the time. So that's always happening.
And Pauline is so great about like the staging in her scripts too, because like she said earlier, with because of the size difference and how the girls kind of interact with the world, it's kind of like Pee-wee's Playhouse a little bit. Yeah. But so Tiger will be explaining something very different, and then it calls for two girls in the shot, but it's a flat plane, and maybe they're on Snarf, or maybe they're on a fallen pillar or a log, or it's just it helps me because like the set dressings and all that are kind of, she's already thought about them, and I can kind of hop into other things. So very, very spoiled.
I'm trying to help as much as I can.
It's great. I love
doing art is hard, so I know it's hard. So if I can help you in any way as a writer, that's my goal.
I guess what I would ask next, who are the best or favorite characters to write for or draw?
Oh, that's a good one. I am really, really enjoying writing Tigra. He was my least favorite ThunderCat going into this, and now he might be my favorite. I'm kind of obsessed with him. I really like our rendition of him, and he's starting to feel like my son. And I just really, I have an affinity for him, and especially after I see how Coleman draws him, I'm obsessed with him. As far as Powerpuff Girls, they're all so fun to write. I think I don't want to toot my own horn, but I feel like I have a really good, I know their voices really well as a writer because the show is so much a part of my DNA. So, but they're all super fun. I am really enjoying writing Buttercup because she's going through something and I really love that drama. So, yeah. What about you, Coleman?
Same, but like with the girls, I think going into it, maybe Buttercup was like the least interesting to me, but now because of the arc and her story throughout the series, she's, you know, top of the list because it's like superficial, but like the drawing part, I couldn't get the flips. Like I just kind of threw me off for a little bit because like Bubbles has, you know, pigtails, pretty easy to lock in, and then there's just other points on Blossom that are like easy anchors to draw the other things around. But then the flips, I was like, did they go under or above the bangs, or it's all depending on how their heads rotated. And I just, the first couple pages, I couldn't wrap my head around it. But now I love Buttercup.
Yeah, well, you're crushing it now. We've talked about this before. It's so interesting because drawing Buttercup is my favorite because of the hair, because it's all like one line. So, and I struggle with Bubbles the most. So it's so, I love talking about this because it's like opposite.
Yeah. And like their bangs are so funny too, because I feel like I give them like receding hairlines because like it's pretty high sometimes. But I'm like, their eyes are so big and important too. And I don't know. I try to look at, when I first started doing it, I was looking a lot at the original 98 cartoon. And then I was looking a lot at the, I think it was 2016 or 17 rendition of them. And they have, it's much more like expressive and a lot of different like emotions going on with that. So I tried to incorporate some of that.
Yeah, I love it.
It's fun. Yeah,
I love all of it.
So you're both artists. What would you say is your how do you get into adapting? Because Powerpuff Girls, like kind of like you said, they're already pretty famous. They're already very uniquely drawn in a specific way. So same thing with the ThunderCats. So what's the trick to adapting to that kind of art style, like for you personally, while still making it yours?
I mean, I think it's hard to not make anything yours when you're an artist because I don't know. I feel like your inclinations as a creative person are unique to you. So I think weirdly, I think my style is very tailor-made to adapt both in a weird way. I mean, I used to be on literal Powerpuff Girls message boards, and like I've drawn it since I was like 10 years old. And then at the same time, I think my regular style, which would suit ThunderCats much more, kind of already has that like 80s anime edge that kind of like like feeds into the style that's already there. But I don't know. It's hard to quantify that. What do you think, Coleman?
I agree, because I think when you're young and you're starting out and you're drawing, you're kind of like a sponge and you're looking at all these different things. And I think that's why this book is so, I think, interesting to us, is because we were looking at all these different styles and trying to absorb it and draw it and copy it and trace it and make it our own. And I think somewhere up in our heads, it's all still there. And then now it's like through the filter of 20 years of work and dedication and trying to hone your craft, and it kind of comes out in your own style. And I think I personally skew a little more like graphic or like kind of more Powerpuff Girls if I was going to draw naturally. And then, but that doesn't erase sort of my love for anime and manga. And I think when I do draw the book, there are like characters or renditions that I have of the ThunderCats that are maybe like a little, you know, the expressions aren't what would be on model within the show, but I think that's sort of why people get hired, or why, you know, it is yours, or why the style is like attractive to you. And I think it's just trying to put what you love into two very visually different properties, but they're like still under the same umbrella.
Yeah, absolutely. Nailed it. Yeah. And I think professionally, both of us have played in a lot of different IP spaces where we've had to look and learn from other styles. So I think we're both pretty good at being a chameleon in that way as far as style.
Yeah, definitely. We worked,
Yeah.
I think, a lot with Boom and everything, and the amount of books that they put out, and like the backups and the covers, you got to really draw differently for a lot of different projects.
Yeah, it's a good skill to have, and yeah, I feel fortunate that I can play.
Yeah.
How long do we know how long the series is?
Yes, it's four issues, 5 if you include the free comic book day. So
I was going to say, what else? I was going to say, what else can you guys tell us about the series without getting too spoilery? What can you tell us?
let's see. It's hard because I don't know. Okay.
Too hard a question. I'm sorry.
I know. No, it's a hard question because it's like, how do I not give it away? I mean, I already gave you a little bit of something with hints at Buttercup's whole thing, which is good.
Which is a good tease.
It's a huge part of it. Let's see. I don't know. We see a lot of different of our favorite ThunderCats creatures and villains, which is fun.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Let's see. The ThunderCats as monsters is all I can say.
Oh, okay.
But we know that kind of from Free Comic Book Day also. I have not thought about this clearly, and I don't know what I can give away.
Well, I'm okay with leaving it with what you said about Buttercup, and since we know how it starts, and that's we'll keep it there. Well, I do have one more question, but I wanted to let the audience know if they wanted to ask you guys something, they can. If they put it in the comments, I can pull up a question. But the final question I had, so I mean, pretty spectacular crossover with ThunderCats and Powerpuff Girls. So what would be another crossover you guys could work on together? What would you want to do?
I mean, I would do anything with Coleman. I'm going to be real. I
completely trust you. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I hope to continue doing more things with him moving forward in general. But as far as IP, I don't know. It would be cool to do like Powerpuff Girls Samurai Jack or something like that. That would be really cool. Of like kind of the same ilk and more visually cohesive. And the Samurai Jack world is buck wild also.
Yeah.
So it's like
100%.
you could do anything with that. So that would be really cool. Yeah, what about you, Coleman?
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I'm kind of in Cartoon Network brain. Maybe Powerpuff Girls. And I love Dexter's Lab, but I think maybe they've already met at some point.
I think there was a crossover. Yeah, I have an issue on my shelf of that.
Yeah, we'll revive that. So
yes.
Bubbles and Dee Dee can have fun.
Yeah. Oh, let's do ThunderCats meets Gem.
Yes, yeah.
I'm sure that hasn't happened yet, right?
I don't think that's happened. That would be very funny.
Maybe Voltron. I don't know, but like 80s Voltron.
80s Voltron.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. Maybe.
I think there's a lot of possibilities, and if someone else at Dynamite thinks of something else, maybe they'll bring it to you guys. Maybe something will happen. People have been asking us, like, did you get this title or this title? I'm like, well, I gotta bring it up with the other guys to see because I'm pretty sure we got the Ben 10 license. I don't know if did we get Dexter's? I can't say that. I can't say which ones we have for sure, which ones we don't have for sure. But I know we have more Disney stuff coming out. That's what I can say. That's all I can say.
I might be working on one of those Disney things also.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, another chat.
Another chat. Yes.
So, I guess besides ThunderCats and Powerpuffs, anything else you guys wanted to promote? Like anything else you guys got coming out soon besides that book?
I'm deep in the trenches of a graphic novel right now for First Second called Flora. It probably won't come out until next year or the year after, but I'm very excited for everyone to see it. So that'll be cool. Yes, like I said, Disney property. I don't know if I can say when I'm doing it, but yes, I'm working on something as a writer, which is very cool. I'm very excited. And the artist that we got is awesome. Anyway, I can't wait to talk about it.
Yay. Me too.
Yeah, let's see what else. I think
Is it who we talked about?
Oh, you know about it. Yeah,
Okay,
you already know. You are, of course you know. Yeah, I think that's it for me. Besides, I'm doing cover work. You'll see me around. I'm always in the comic shop. Anyway, Coleman, what you doing?
Yeah, similarly, I have a book with First Second coming out in a couple years. So
Yeah,
2020X is what I keep saying.
Exactly. Books take so long to do.
Yes, but we finally got the final draft and the okay to start thumbnailing. So it's called Scholar's Mate. So it'll be about chess and drama and
It's very cool.
Friendship.
Yes. But in the meantime, we got Thunder Puffs.
Thunder Puffs.
Yes.
I like it.
Thunder Puffs.
And like we keep trying to make it work, but on like a professional level, nobody's said it with us.
I know. It's a good one. Call it Thunder Puffs, you guys.
It's easy for me to like when I'm typing it down, like to instead of ThunderCats / Powerpuff, like just
just say Thunder Puffs. That's what I'm saying. It's easy for everyone. Just help yourself. Help us help you.
Oh my goodness. So ThunderCats and Powerpuff Girls, we were supposed to release it in June, but now I'm reading things that said it's going to be July. But at least we can say it's definitely coming out this summer.
This summer. And then it'll be consistent after that. But
yes.
Summer extravaganza.
Yes.
Summer extravaganza. All right. So thank you both so much for spending some time with me today. It was really, really exciting to talk to both of you. I'm excited for this series. Again, as a Powerpuff fan and slowly becoming a ThunderCats fan. I think this is a nice gateway to another series, whether you're on one side or the other.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I think even if you know neither property, you should read it because it's a good time.
Agree. So I will let you guys go. Thank you again so much for today. I hope the rest of the day is wonderful, and I want to thank to everyone who sat here with us and watched. And I hope they go get the book.
Yeah, get Thunder Puffs
when it comes out.
Thank you for having us, Amy.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.